So this is the Mario Game & Watch. Now, obviously I know it's been out for quite a while. I meant to make the video earlier, okay? So I thought now is the perfect time to make a review on it. Now that literally nobody cares about it and nobody's gonna buy it. Yay! Especially because it's weirdly expensive now. But the question is, now that the dust has settled, as it were, now that reviewers don't seem to care about it much anymore, is it actually worth picking up, or is it merely a novelty? So let's talk about the actual playing experience. The screen is tiny. Wow, okay. It does have a very nice screen. It doesn't have the best of viewing angles, but they are actually pretty good. If I'm looking at it right like this, then the viewing angles aren't great. But looking head on there, it does have a very nice screen. Let's get into the games. So let's go with Mario Bros. 1, the absolute classic. Ooh, there we go. There's the Mario. So here we go. Here's level 1-1, the absolute classic. Probably one of the most recognizable levels ever. It has quite good colors. The brightness is very good. I've had to dim it down a little bit so that you can see it properly, but the brightness is very good. Wow, that actually gets quite dark. And there's very little input lag. There's very little ghosting either, but there is a little more ghosting on the screen when it's cold than when it's a bit warmer. Very stable frame rate. I didn't notice any frame dips at all, especially when we're talking about emulation. That's quite impressive, as you would hope for a system like this. And overall, it is actually a very good experience playing Mario Bros. 1, as you would hope, because that's the whole point of the system. But it does run very well, so at least that's good to know. It even runs at 60 Hz, even the European version. So it isn't running at the Potato Town 50 Hz version, which nobody should ever play unless if they have to. You can even access the minus world as well. It's Mario Bros. What else is there to say? Then we have Mario Bros. 2. Now, this isn't the Mario Bros. 2 that we got in the US and Europe, but rather this is Mario Bros. Basically 1.5, which is pretty much the exact same as the first Mario Bros, except with newer levels, harder levels, and a couple of new items and stuff. So it's almost like an expansion or a DLC these days to Mario Bros. 1. This one isn't quite the same thing as the other Mario Bros. 2. Everything loads very quickly, like it's basically instant. That's literally it. It's basically the same thing. Can I catch it? Can I catch it? Oh, got it. Okay. Let's get the other one. Oh, got that one. Nice. Wow, riveting gameplay. This is the best game I've ever played. But seriously, obviously this is the actual Game & Watch mode. It needs to be included in here because it's the Game & Watch. If it wasn't, it would be a bit strange. It is a fun little mini game to have when you just got like 5 minutes on the bus or something. But this is the peak definition of I'll play this for 10 minutes and then never actually touch it ever again. I was going to say don't buy if you don't want this mode, but that doesn't really make any sense. We've got Game A and we've got Game B. Game B is just slightly harder with an extra ball. That's literally it. Oh, okay, so Game B is just slightly harder. It's Game & Watch, what else can you say? But it's nice to have it here at least. So you can suspend the system, so you can keep your progress while you know, go and do something quick, and then you can turn back on, return to where you were. I think that's quite cool, but there are no save states. So some people may prefer that because it's a lot more of an authentic experience. It's literally exactly how Mario Bros. Was designed. But for me personally, I would prefer save states because World 7 and World 8 are ridiculously hard, and I am a noob. They should have included save states considering how expensive the system was, and actually is at the moment. I'm glad the Steam Deck wasn't in there.
Well, maybe the whole point is the key, isn't it? So.
It's just not designed to be thrown, though. Well, they tried with the watch mode, and it has this fun little animation. There's a few things you can change on it. Ooh, by pressing A, I can spawn Koopas. Oh, Mario died. So if we press time, there's a couple of different backgrounds, which is cool. What is that sound? I'm guessing that's like the seconds or something. There's the sound, and then there we go. So there's the set time. It is 8:22 as I make this. There you go. So it's 8:23 now. So that's how you set the time. Actually looks like an NES game, which is kind of cool. Unfortunately, it's a bit redundant these days. It's cool that it's there, but obviously you're not going to really use it that often because you have a smartphone. And if you don't have a smartphone, this isn't going to help you text people. So again, it's cool, but to me, it feels a little bit pointless. The main problem I have is the lack of games on it. The Mario Bros. 2, unless you really like Mario Bros. 1, you're probably not going to play that often. And the Mario minigame, Game & Watch thing, whatever you call it, is fun for like 10 minutes, maybe sharing it to a friend, and that's about it. You're really not going to spend that much time on this unless you specifically really like Mario Bros. 1. Because if they added Mario Bros. 2, or the US, Europe version of 2, and 3, I think I'd get a lot more use out of this, because especially Mario Bros. 3 is probably my favourite out of the NES games. Mario Bros. 1 is cool, but I much prefer Mario Bros. 3. And even Mario Bros. 2 to an extent, especially if they added like a lot more NES ROMs. Can you imagine having like a whole collection of Mega Drive, even a whole collection of Super NES games in here? That would be so cool. Unfortunately, Nintendo didn't go that route. Now, you can technically do that with modding, so this system is moddable, but the USB port on here is only charging, that you can't do data through it. So you have to literally open up the system, install like a mod chip, or change some code to dump the flash and the firmware and everything, and it gets a lot more more complicated than just soft modding a system like you would on the 3DS or the Wii, and especially because of how niche the community is. I don't expect any kind of significant, easier way to mod these things for quite a while. The Zelda one actually is a much better buy, and I might buy that at some point, because not only do you get obviously Zelda 1, but you get Zelda 2, which is a completely different game, and you get Link's Awakening, which I think is probably my favourite out of the three. You have 3 distinct Zelda games, so that is a much better buy. But for this system here, I really wouldn't pay more than about £8 or $10 for it, because for what you get, it's just not worth anything more than that, and especially because the prices are going up now. Unless you know somebody who's really into the first Mario Bros. As like a collector's piece, there is literally no point buying this for the actual gaming experience as it is, because it's good, but it's just Mario Bros. 1. Get the Zelda one if you really want to put some proper hours into it. It is surprisingly light. I would have liked to feel a little bit heavier, just so it feels a bit more premium, as opposed to just a cheap toy. It definitely feels like the construction could be better, especially if it was made of like metal or something. That'd be really nice, as opposed to just plastic. Oh, there you go. Look, there's the animation, the sleep animation. I quite like that. But yeah, in typical Nintendo fashion, it's overpriced and doesn't have as many features as it probably should. Very nice piece of technology, just kind of pointless because Nintendo didn't use it to its full potential. If you're into retro gaming, like you would be if you're buying something like this, I've got a video here on how you can save money finding your own game deals. Thanks for watching.